The way you spend your times in the evenings can either build on your marriage or can create distance between you and your husband. If you feel like you're stuck in the flatmate phase, or you just coexist with your husband where you just live past each other, or maybe he has told you that he's unhappy in the marriage and you don't know what to do about it, then these intentional changes will have a transformative effect on your marriage. How do I know this? Because I've been there and I understand. And I want to help you to change that within your marriage just like I did. If you are new here, my name is Julie and I help wives to create a great marriage by sharing and teaching you the things that I've learned from being married for over a decade. If you want to start building a better marriage today, then I would like to invite you to press that like and subscribe button, as this also really helps the video reach more wives who are struggling in the marriages. So the first thing I want to talk about is creating a positive atmosphere at home. You are the keeper of your home. So I want you to ask yourself, when your husband comes home from work, does he feel excited and welcomed? Or does he feel like he's walking into stress and chaos? Your home should be a place of refuge for your husband, a place he wants to come home to after a long days of work. There is nothing more rewarding for a husband coming home and being greeted with a warm smile and cheerfulness from the person he has worked the whole day for, which is you, his wife. And this immediately lifts the burden. It lifts his mood and uplifts his spirit. Every day when my husband comes home from work, when I hear the gate is opening and he's pulling in his car, I immediately call my son to tell him that dad is home. We open the door, we walk outside, and we excitedly greet him. And this immediately sets the tone for the whole evening. Even if he had a bad day, he immediately feels better when we greet him this way, with excitement, cheerfulness, and lots of smiles. As wives, we have the power to set the tones within our home. This doesn't mean that I expect you to be perfect and that everything should always be in order. And trust me, I don't. But most of the times I do. It's about shifting the everyday chaos to only one time a week, so that when your husband comes home, that he actually finds peace. So I want you to check the following. Check the mood in your home. Before your husband arrives, how are the kids behaving? Are there chaos in the air? Are there arguments happening between siblings? Because if the house is messy and there is tension, that energy will affect your husband's experience once he walks through that door. Again, it's not about perfection, but it is about creating a peaceful home atmosphere when he comes home. And to create that atmosphere, you can consider things like lighting a candle, playing soft background music, or let the kids help just tidying up with toys that's laying around or spaces that looks a bit cluttered. You will be amazed how little effort can actually make your home more inviting. Another thing is check how you speak to your kids. The way you communicate with your kids can actually set the atmosphere at home and even the atmosphere within your relationship with your husband. If you spend the whole evening feeling frustrated and raising your voice, then that energy will overflow with how you interact with your husband. And I'm sorry to say this, but no husband enjoys coming home to a wife who is constantly feeling frustrated and yelling. Try to approach the evening with a calm and peaceful demeanor. If things start to get tense and you're starting to feel overwhelmed, rather step away and collect yourself to come back with a better attitude. This will not only benefit your relationship with your kids, but will also have a positive effect on the home atmosphere and also the relationship with your husband. Men tend to have this certain harshness about them. When they speak with authority, but they love to see their wives being soft and caring. And one of the ways you can actually show that to your husband is actually the way that you are with your kids, how you communicate with them and how you interact with them. So next time when you to talk to your kids, try to be soft and caring because your husband will find that attractive. The next thing is creating coziness and warmth within your home. And this can be as simple as dimming the lights to create a warmer atmosphere, preparing a warm meal that you know he loves, or having a warm cup of tea or a warm cup of coffee ready for him when he comes home from work. And it's also in the simple act of how you greet him when he comes home. Like I said, with a smile and cheerfulness, instead of having a list of things, what went wrong that day, or having a lot of bills that you want to discuss with him. This only shows him that he is a priority, that you're thinking about him, and he is at a place where he is being valued. Number 2, which is so important, is to be happy. One of the most attractive things to a man is a happy and cheerful wife. If that is not you now, then you need to change that immediately, because this can be the very thing that is creating distance between you and your husband. I know, because I've been there, and that is exactly why I created a free webinar, Creating a Joyful Marriage. It is to help wives who are struggling in their marriages today, who are feeling unhappy or know that their husbands are feeling unhappy. And if that is you, I want to invite you to the webinar. I put the link in the description down below for you to have access to, so that you can start to create a joyful marriage today. So when you think back to when you first got married or when you first met each other, there was laughter, there was joy, and there was this constant playfulness between you two. And we want to create that back into our marriages, even if we've been married for over a decade. So first, I want you to self-reflect. What is your mood like when your husband comes home from work? How do you greet him? How do you look when he comes home? Are you looking happy and cheerful, or are you looking overwhelmed, stressed, and tired? If this is the case, I want you to change that immediately. Like I said, there is nothing attractive about an overwhelmed, tired wife. This is one of the reasons why so many men end up in bars after work instead of coming straight home. So if you're feeling tired, I want you to find ways to feel rested. Maybe you can go to bed earlier at night, or maybe you can take a 10-minute power nap, or do something as simple as walking in the garden or doing a craft hobby that makes you feel happy and energized. You need to find the best and fastest way for you to feel recharged. For me, I know whenever I am tired, I just need to go to bed earlier, because I intend to stay up too late wanting to speak to my husband, but then I know I won't look the best the next morning. So I have to have that self-discipline to go to bed early, to look and feel rested. If you're in a position to, see if you can get someone to help you once a week with house chores, just to lighten the workload. Or see if you can have takeout once a week just to give you a night off. If the kids are draining your energy, which I completely understand, because sometimes kids can be emotionally exhausting, and I only have one, and sometimes I feel that way. So my advice would be, see if you can implement a routine where they have downtime, whether it's them playing outside or quietly playing in their room or doing a craft. This routine only helps them to understand that mommy is busy now and they need to entertain themselves. It's about finding a routine that makes you feel less stressed and more cheerful when your husband comes home from work. Because happiness is contagious. When you greet him happily, that will immediately change his attitude towards you. And let me tell you, your husband will be drawn to you when you radiate joy, when you look joyful. Even if you don't feel happy, sometimes making the effort to just look the part can change your mood as well. Number 3 is talk about nothing. And by this, I mean, when you guys met for the first time, maybe even the first date, you had no family matters to talk about. You had no bills to discuss, no kids' schedules. The conversations were just fun and light. And I want you to focus on going back to that. Discussing serious matters does not build deep connection, but talking about random silly things actually does. And I will leave a list of random silly questions you can ask your husband in the comments down below. You can also try talking about things that you and your husband both enjoy, like movies or experiences that you had together, or even something funny that happened that day or that you saw that day. These all are just for lighting the mood and talking about something different other than always serious things. And here is a super tip. Everyone loves talking about themselves. It just brings us joy to relive the memories that we have. So I want you to ask your husband about something that happened in his childhood. So it can be simple as, what sports did you enjoy to play when you were a kid? Or what sport were you really good at when you were in high school? And then I want you to just listen. I don't want you to interrupt. I don't want you to contribute or talk or jump in with your sport that you were good at. I want you to just listen to your husband. You will be amazed about how much he starts to talk and the way that he talks, the enjoyment that he feels and shows when he's talking about this thing. The key here is to just make him enjoy the experience about talking to himself and just being there to listen. And really try this one when you are struggling to have conversation with your husband. Number 4 is find small ways to reignite connection. With daily routines, we can become disconnected from one another. We get used to living next to each other instead of with each other. Maybe your husband is at a point where he doesn't even want to spend time with you anymore. And if this is the case, I'm really sorry, because I know how it feels. But I am here to give you hope and to tell you that there are ways to slowly bring back the fun in the relationship. I recently made a video about 18 one-minute habits to instantly transform your marriage, which I personally think was such a good video. So you can press the link above my head if you want to watch that video, or you can watch it afterwards, but that was really a great video just to bring connection within your marriage again. But here are some other things that you can try, and some of them might be easier when you actually have kids. The first one is plan a game night. I know it sounds simple, but just trust me on this one. If you have kids, you can make it a board game night where you all just sit together and have fun and just have the opportunity to laugh together. Remember, it's about making intentional changes to have a greater marriage. So make the effort to actually do something that gives the opportunity for you and your husband to just laugh together again. My son is 4 years old, and the other day he brought the Uno cards to me, asking me to learn him how to play. And I taught him. Now every other night before bedtime, we as a family play Uno together. And it is so much fun. And it actually just connects us and gave us an opportunity during the week to have fun and to laugh about something that is really actually nothing. The next one I have is planning a fondue evening. This is just something fun and different than the normal meal you would have or getting takeouts. It's like a whole experience. It takes much longer to fondue than just having a meal. And this is a great opportunity for you to have those silly random questions to ask your husband and to talk about. Again, remember, it's about intentionally making changes. So find the things that is out of your routine and just bring something different to your marriage. The last one I have is to actually get takeout, but eat it somewhere other than at your home, because sometimes a change of scenery can change the mood as well. The beach is always just the best place to go because it brings so much peace, but other than that, just have a look at places within your area that you would know would be a nice experience. Or you can go to a place where you and your husband have had a date before, just to bring back those memories. The goal is to create a moment where you are around each other in a light and enjoyable way. Number 5 is Give him space without withdrawing your love. Men often process stress, emotions, and challenges differently than we women do. While women prefer to talk things through, a man may need solitude to work through his own thoughts. So instead of seeing this quietness and this distance as a rejection, recognize it as a natural part of how he operates. So give him room to just breathe without pulling away emotionally, because we women intend to do that. So this means resisting the urge to take it personally when he needs room, when he needs alone time. Instead of thinking he doesn't want to spend time with me, shift your mindset to he needs time to recharge, and continue to show him kindness and affection. Your steady, loving presence will reassure him that you are his safe space. And when a man feels trusted and given the freedom just to be himself, he is more likely to open up and seek connection on his own. Number 6 is do something that makes you happy. This one goes hand in hand in what we talked about in number 2. Men love a cheerful, friendly wife. How do we accomplish this? We simply need to pour back into ourselves. It's your responsibility to have the discipline to look after yourself, not just for you and your happiness, but also for your marriage and the happiness within your marriage. When you are feeling sad and overwhelmed, that is what you will pour into your marriage. Your personal growth is the foundation to a happier marriage. When you feel joyful, your husband will see that within you. And I have never heard of a man that wants to divorce a joyful wife. So I want to ask you, what makes you happy? I highly recommend you taking up a hobby that makes you feel happy and makes you feel energized. I made a video about low energy hobbies that you can start doing in the evenings. You can check that out by pressing the link above my head. But choose a fun and easy hobby that you can do in the evenings that will make you feel happy. Because we want our husbands to witness the joy that it actually brings to us when we are doing it. When our husband sees that we are doing something that we enjoy, it automatically brings them joy. So it's about doing something that you enjoy and letting your husband witness that, because we still want to and need to impress our husbands. It's about finding ways to make yourself happy. Do not neglect yourself. You are one of the pillars holding your marriage together. If you don't take care of yourself, it's like not taking care of your marriage. And I'll say this again, your personal growth is the foundation to a happier marriage. And a joyful wife is an attractive wife. I know this can be overwhelming, so again, I would like to invite you to my free webinar, Creating a Joyful Marriage, which I linked in the description down below for you to have access to. This will help you to see your marriage from a different point of view and will help you to understand how to be happy. The last one is number 7, and that is to pray. No matter what your marriage looks like today, whether it's thriving or struggling, prayer is the most powerful thing you can do for your marriage. God is for your marriage. He designed it and He wants your marriage to succeed. Even if you feel like you're fighting this battle alone, you are not. God sees your efforts and He hears your prayers. I wish I could tell you about all the ways that God transformed my marriage through prayer, but I don't think YouTube's web space would be enough for that. I have taken so many things in prayer to God about my marriage, and He has just stepped in and transformed our hearts in ways that I could not have imagined. So pray for wisdom, patience, and strength as a wife. Pray for your husband's heart and make it a habit to pray for your husband. When you invite God into your marriage, He can transform it in ways that you have never imagined. Your evenings is an opportunity to build on your marriage. Over time, these small shifts will create a stronger and happier marriage. Another thing you can do is to watch my video on how biblical femininity can lead to a better marriage. If you enjoyed this video, then please press that like and subscribe button if you haven't, and if you really want to start building on a better and great marriage. It also helps this video to reach wives who are struggling in their marriages today. Thank you for watching, and I hope that you have a blessed day.